Harbour trade unions have claimed that a conspiracy is underway to remove the East Container Terminal from the purview of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority.
Shortcuts.
Have the struggles of trade unions ended?
Our first request is that the East Container Terminal and its operations must fall under complete control of the Sri Lanka Port Authority and that it must not be given to private entities. What is left is to commence operations. We believe that certain issues will arise while commencing operations. During the last 4.5 years, port officials have provided false and incomplete information to the President's secretaries. It is their plan which had been implemented. We believe that this issue can be resolved shortly. A committee has been appointed to investigate past and present irregularities. At trade unions, we know the correct details. Within 45 days, we will provide these details to the committee.
Who obstructed the struggle to bring the East Container Terminal under the purview of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority?
Japan, India and Sri Lanka had agreed to cooperate regarding the matter concerning the East Container Terminal. However, they are not speaking about Japan now. They are mostly speaking about India. Even if India acquires this, we feel that this will not be developed. That is because they simply want to occupy it. The Adani Group is one of the key port companies in India. They are constructing a port that would connect all ports in India. The main obstruction for that is the East Container Terminal in Sri Lanka. There is a direct influence on the ECT. Besides that, we have the SAGT. The agreement regarding SAGT will be over within 8 years. The Chinese government has some investments in Sri Lanka. The most prominent among them is the Hambantota port and the CICT. As far as we can understand, there is no smooth diplomatic dealing in this respect with India, as these two entities have been given to China. Therefore, India is trying to establish some ownership in the port.
Was the trade union struggle carried out targeting the election?
Then they could have procured the cranes after the election. Our minister could have told China to ship the cranes after the election. There is no problem like that here. The cranes have been brought to commence work. However, India and some corrupt officials at the Sri Lanka Port Authority who were eyeing positions at the Indian company intervened. We have been informed that certain discussions are taking place in secret. We will reveal matters relating to this with evidence in the future.
Leader of the National People's Power, Andra Kumara Dissanayake, spoke about foreign conspiracies.
As a matter of fact, are we choosing the government? The people of this country cast their vote. However, it is the Indian High Commission and the US Embassy that choose leaders for several governments. Let me explain this to you, citing two recent examples. What were the two matters that figured extensively during last year's presidential election? They were the April 21st attacks and the MCC agreement. Is the MCC agreement over now? The people created this government for what they say was to tear the MCC agreement. However, the government is now postponing the MCC agreement until August. Is this the government of the people? The government belongs to the US Embassy. The second problem is the East Jetty. We developed the East Jetty. 4 years ago, we offloaded the cranes and began operations of the East Terminal. If operations had begun, it cannot be sold. Therefore, India didn't allow the offloading process to take place. What was the ultimate decision? The equipment would be provided, but they cannot be installed. For 72 years, our country has been destroyed. What worse can happen after the election? How much has been wasted already? They pushed our country into a debt trap. They destroyed the environment of our country. There were permits to transport sand and soil in the country. But what did the government do? They scrapped off the system. Why is that? That was to allow the provincial level politicians to earn money. It is a politician in Dewlapitia who is involved in sand mining in the area. At the same time, it is the environment minister who is involved in sand mining in Manampitia. Therefore, the leaders of our country have done the worst possible things that they can do. However, there is something that can be done at this election. The parliament can be cleaned. Any of the parliamentarians have not broken through barriers and doors to enter parliament. They entered parliament as the people voted for them. What must be done now? We must stop electing those people to parliament.